Hey, what's happening, everybody? It's the Kill Tony Recap Special Edition.
Hi.
What?
There was no Kill Tony tonight, so
We got our
all dead.
we got our followers though, you guys. Thank you so much. So we promised you, if you subscribe to our channel, that we would give you a special edition, and so we did.
and we got Alice motherfucking Hamilton in
So we
the
got Alice! Yay!
Thank you. You're so lucky I'm here.
Yes, we are.
We're gonna get clout on Reddit now. We're gonna get clout on Reddit now.
No,
Yeah.
they hate me on the internet.
Oh,
The internet hates everybody.
Go ahead, you can leave then. I guess we'll be alright.
We get enough hate.
So you were there at the Arizona show. Do you get out to Phoenix often? Or was this just
No,
like I'm
that
gonna
was
roll
the
with Joel sort of thing?
I've been to the Phoenix airport.
Yeah.
End of list.
Mm.
Like,
Okay.
I went to Kill Tony Mania in San Francisco, and when they said they were going to Phoenix, I was like, how far away is that? Same exact amount of time, the drive. So I
Yeah.
was like, oh, I'll fucking go to that one too. Because I
Really?
just like the show. I just like hanging out.
Yeah, of
And
course.
because I've been like around and shit, like when I went up to San Francisco, I was like, Joel, like, do you need me? Because I always see him on Twitter. He's like, oh, if anyone has any drums, I'm like, if you need me to like drive some shit up. So this time I drove like the drums and the guitar up because they knew I was just gonna be there.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, hey, is it cool if I like take pictures? And they're like, fine with it.
Yeah.
That's so
Wow.
cool.
Yeah,
That's
that's
awesome.
cool. So now I see you taking pictures every week at the Comedy Store.
Yeah.
So how do you post those to Instagram through their account or?
After the show, I'll email usually the best photos to the Kill Tony Instagram so they can post them.
Gotcha.
And then just like whatever, usually like pictures of my friends that got called up and like pictures of people hanging out afterwards. Cause that's what it started as. Like I wasn't like,
Right.
I had open mics set up every single night of the week, but like Kill Tony, there was nothing except for Kill Tony because it takes so long.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, this is my night off. If I get called up, cool. If I don't get called up, I'm still watching a fucking fun ass show.
Right. Right.
And so I would just bring my camera to be like, me and my friends doing this little fun thing, and I could post those whenever I wanted to,
Mhm.
and then that kind of snowballed into me taking pictures during the show.
Oh, that's cool.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Nice.
Very cool.
I was a fan before I became a comic, so I was just like listening, and then once I became a comic, it was like, that's a fucking goal. I want to go there.
Mhm.
And then like when you meet everybody there, it's just
Yeah.
such like a nice experience. It's like my favorite night of the week.
Yeah.
So
It's like comedy church. I call it comedy church.
yeah.
It is.
Kill
It
Tony.
really
It
is.
is like comedy.
At least for
church.
open micers, us
Yes.
thirsty
Right.
open micers.
I really don't
Our
disagree.
piece
Yeah.
of shit
I
open
think it's-
micers
I
that
think
you
it's
like
pretty
to talk
similar.
about.
Now, are you responsible for the group photo that they take at the end that's posted?
Yes.
That's you, right?
Yeah, I do take the group photo, but it's not like I'm doing anything special, cause like Tony at the end of every single show would take a picture with his cell phone, and then like a bunch of other people would come around with their cell phones, and they'd all get pictures while he was getting his picture.
Right.
And I was like, I have a Nikon. There's no photography allowed in the show.
Yeah.
I can't walk up and be like, hey, flash, like that's not gonna go unnoticed.
Right.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to take a picture, but I didn't want to get one of my cell phone either. So I just walked up to Tony after shows one time, and was like, at first I was gonna ask if I could take a picture for myself, and then I was like, hey, do you want me to take a picture with like a real camera, and I'll just send it to you?
Mm-hmm.
That way it was like, he wasn't doing me a favor. I was
Right.
like, I'm doing something for you,
Yeah.
and also for my Instagram. That helps the fucking likes
Right.
and clicks
Sure.
and shit.
Sure.
Right.
So.
It was a win-win.
Yeah, and so I was like, I can send it to you, is that okay? And I knew if I got his permission, everyone else would be cool with it, and the door guys would be like, get the fuck out of here with your camera.
Right.
Right.
And then I also asked the band, I was like, hey, can I take pictures of you guys in your costumes? Because they do different shit every single
Yeah.
Right.
week.
Yeah. Every week.
And I felt like that should be well documented because
Right.
like maybe later, they'll want something to like roll back through.
Right.
And so
Yeah.
Joel, we weren't like friends, but I kind of knew him, and I was like, hey, run it past the guys. If they're cool with it, let me know.
Mm-hmm.
So
So
then
you
when
get
I
to
was,
run into the green room back there while they're dressing up?
it used to be that I would take it right before they came out on stage.
Uh-huh.
But then it changed to where like usually we'll take it afterwards now.
Gotcha.
And then we can like take it in front of the like Comedy Store sign and shit. It's nicer.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
cool.
because I was taking all those pictures, one day Tony I came in early and because I knew they wouldn't mind, I was like, hey, can I just take some test shots just to fuck with my camera and see what the best like setting is here? And Tony was like, you can take pictures of anything anytime you want. And I was like, I'm gonna take pictures during the fucking show.
Yeah, there you go.
And like I know enough of the door guys to where like a few of them were like, hey, you're good, right? And I was like, yeah, Tony said it was fine, but other than that, just stand in the back and take pictures. And there's other people that take pictures during the show, but I was like, it's cool to me that everyone's cool with what I'm doing, even if it's just for my Instagram.
Right, but it puts a different, it puts a different level like of confidence and stuff. Like you know, they're not gonna be like, oh, that's that girl that takes those pictures. Oh, that's that bitch that sneaks pictures.
There's definitely
because some people feel that.
There are definitely people who still think that. But
oh, really? I feel like it's like
less of them.
You know what I thought the first time I saw you? I was like, oh, that's their professional photographer. I'm not even saying that because you're here. I saw you and was like, oh, that's their professional photographer.
That's what some people think now. Yeah. And they also think that I have a level of influence that I do not have. Because people will be like, and I know when they're bullshitting me. So they'll be like, hey, I love your pictures. And I'm like, I see you smashing that like button though. So,
oh, sure. Right.
Okay.
Of course not.
But then they're like, I drive here, it takes me like an hour, and I just like, my sick mom would really love it if I got up. And I'm like, I'm not gonna walk up to fucking Tony and be like, hey, put this asshole up. Like, I have no influence. I have so little power. So he just said it was okay if I take pictures. That's all I do.
Right.
But I still get people that are like, if you could put in a good word, I'm like, the fuck out of here. I'm not.
It just reminds me of, you got a Jimmy Fox bit where he talks about like following around P. Diddy, and he's just like, I'm just gonna record this shit because no one else is doing it. And it's like, that's what it reminds me of. You saw an opportunity, you're like, this is cool shit, people should be taking pictures. Now it's helping your Instagram, and that's a cool side effect, but I mean, you were there at the show anyway. And that's kind of how I came up with the recap thing. I was like, well, I'm not gonna get up 95% of the time, but can I get a little content out of Monday nights? Maybe.
Because it's fucking fun. It's a fun night. And
it's a real community there.
Yeah.
So
we get to meet and we talk about it. We talk about the show, and Jacob was to come up with this idea. It was so good.
Yeah, we were talking about that earlier when you got up at Phoenix. We were like, was that planned? You know, because she went and she helped with the drums, but you let us know that you actually seen your name on the table.
I specifically looked because I've been going to Kill Tony long enough to know that it's not rigged, because like there have been episodes, at least one episode that like the Jamar Neighbors episode, where Tony stopped in the middle of the show and was like, for everyone who thinks that I'm rigging the bucket, if I was rigging the bucket, I wouldn't do this. Like, and not that like Jamar Neighbors wasn't great, but every single comic that got called up was a homeless black dude. Every single one. And they were like, Jesus, this was not like, that's the thing about like pulling shit out of a fucking random bucket. Is that like sometimes it can go one direction, it can go a fucking other direction. And so when I got called up in Phoenix, I like looked at the table and I was like, oh, that's my name. Like, cause there's that jealous comic thing in your head that's like, I'm not getting called up because fucking like he's put it. And it's like, and that's not true
Maybe
at all.
It's just good karma, right? I mean, you did a good deed.
That's
destiny.
I wasn't even gonna put my name in the bucket. Here's what I think happened. I wasn't even gonna put my name in the bucket in Phoenix because I was like, I'm there every week in California and like these traveling shows. I don't want to take spots from these people who only get like one or two a year. But then at the last minute, I was like, man, fuck these men.
I need my time.
I was like, this is a good ass room. Like when you're out of town, they don't hate you. The audience in LA, they're like, fail, you piece of shit.
I feel like it's 50-50 most times.
It's true.
Tony
It depends on the room.
But the reactions when you actually bomb are way better than when you kill, you know?
It's like American Idol, and by that I mean sometimes the best part is when they fucking fail. And they're like, yes.
If the Idol with the golden calf.
I think you did really well, and just to see you up on stage, it made me proud that that's one of ours. Like that's how I felt. Like she's from Los Angeles, and I think that you shined. There was two guys that were super funny, but you definitely shined on stage, and I thought that was awesome.
I felt good about it. I felt that's what it was. The last minute, I was like, you know what, this is a good room, and if I get up, that's cool. But because I put my name in like almost last, it was right there at the top, so you can like swirl it around, and like he fucking shakes it. He's not like a fucking, but he pulled it out, and he seemed genuinely surprised.
So the look on his face
what I thought too.
It was very real.
But I still, when I got to the stage, I was like, what does that say?
Yeah.
And it said Alice Hamilton.
Yeah, how good of an actor
There was
is
a
that?
comment on the fucking YouTube that
yeah.
was like, I think Allison Hamilton got rigged up, and I was like,
Get my
But
name right.
it was
first of all.
because at the end of the show, I was like, I brought the drums, which was just me,
Right.
like, I'm on stage,
At
people
the
are
end of your
watching,
interview.
panic.
Yeah.
Like, there was, and I was
Yeah.
like, why did I fucking say that
Yeah.
dumbass shit? There was no fucking reason
You're
for that
being
shit.
honest.
It was
That's
fucking,
all.
it
Well,
was.
let's get into Michael
panic.
Cancino before we get into Alice.
Let's
Yeah.
do it.
Oh,
We'll
let's
take
do
us
it.
through the
Yeah,
recap.
yeah.
We'll
Let's
go
do it.
through the
Let's do it.
recap.
Alright.
And we'll pause on Alice. She was up second. So first we want to talk about the band. So the band came out as Russian Break.
Holy shit!
Sorry,
All right.
I'm already playing.
So I do apartment maintenance, right,
Jeremiah
guys?
kills
Where I
his
worked,
character.
a bunch of old seniors. These guys are like drugged out.
And we're gonna
They're fucking
okay,
insane,
okay,
right?
Later in the episode.
I get a work order to go in
Let's
somebody's
stop.
apartment.
Alright,
I
so
go.
we're gonna stop it.
Just
Alright,
for
you want to
the-
talk about? We'll just put it on a pause in the corner. We can see a little bit of the band here.
All right. So we have the Russian breakdancers, and yeah,
Right.
Jeremiah killed it later in the show, and we can hit on that after the dude's set.
I don't know
who
what's
did it.
taking so long for a comedy, or not a costume shop in Los Angeles to sponsor the Kill Tony band. 'cause
Oh,
they
that's
Right?
such a good.
Yeah.
They've got
That would
internet
make so much
sponsored,
sense.
they should have costume sponsor. I think that'll
Somebody
happen soon.
get
That
on that.
should happen soon.
That should.
Because
So-
Sandra
Well,
Cass
actually-
is really begging to be their personal designer. She really
and
wants to
part
do
of the
it.
band. No.
Yeah, well, there's that
She wants
part.
to-
There's that
Yeah,
part.
she wants to
She
design the
wants-
costumes and be a guest.
Yeah,
in the
but she
band.
wants the band to have their own. She wants the band to have their own show. Anyhow, all right. So the band, and they crushed it. They freaking crushed it. I'm just saying, she wants the band to have a visiting, rotating guest as well.
Right.
It's just like a.
But what instrument did she play besides, what
The
instrument?
skin flute?
No.
I don't know.
Hey, we
Hey.
went there.
Oh.
All right.
Alright.
So our first comic up. Any other comments about the band? Obviously,
I
the
think
break
that,
dance.
great.
I mean, the Russian
Joel
stuff,
Bert.
I'm a sucker for it. I love it. I
Yeah.
think everyone had some really cool moments. They're just a fucking great collection of people. You could tell they enjoy spending time together. And that's what I love about this version of the Kill Tony band. I mean, Pat Regan, he loved his boys, I think, but I don't know. And there wasn't as much as harmony within, like, the Kill Tony, like...
It's a unit now.
It feels like a unit.
They're all they're all friends with Pat. But
Yeah.
the comments, like the commenters were just like the commenters are always assholes.
Sure.
Right.
The internet's always an asshole.
So that get to Pat? Is that
I
what
don't
you
know
think?
because I don't know him.
Yeah.
But I feel like if it were me in that situation, just constantly hearing all that shit, I'd be like, fuck, man, I don't need to do this.
Right.
But that's me speaking
Wait.
for someone that I've talked to like twice in my life.
Wait, Pat quit because of that?
No, I don't know
Oh,
what
that's what
he
she
was.
was. Yeah.
He's in like 3 bands. He's got
He's
so
got a
much
lot.
shit.
This is
going
a
on.
deep
He's
dive
like
into
a
Kill
writer.
Tony.
Yeah.
I love
yeah,
it.
it is. People
I'm
are
like
gonna
drunk
know
and I'm talking for people.
who Patty
Pat's
Regan
great.
is.
Who I met him twice and he's been lovely both times.
Yeah. She'll do.
I'm
I
just
love.
saying, internet commenters are assholes.
They are.
Right?
You haters.
So,
I love that Chroma Chris is coming alive. He's
Right.
becoming like
Little by little.
a character himself.
Yeah.
You can
I
see
like
he's
that.
like his prey when he's about to get on the mic and say something clever
He's ready to
or
go.
funny.
It's like
Cool.
Penn and Teller,
Mm.
but they're true.
But they both yeah.
Allow
And they all
them
talk.
to talk.
All right.
So,
First up was Michael Cansino.
go ahead.
Cansino.
Alright, so we'll go ahead and play that from the beginning.
There we go.
Holy shit! All right. So I do apartment maintenance, right, guys? Where I worked, a bunch of old seniors. These guys are like drugged out. They're fucking insane, right? I get a work order to go in somebody's apartment. I go in, I do it, I fucking leave. Later on that week, my supervisor comes up to me and tells me that guy's accusing me of stealing a jar of his brother's ashes. What kind of fucking person do you gotta be to do that shit, man? So later that day, I'm just walking around. Same dude comes up to me, asks if he could buy some weed off of me. And I don't hold any grudges, so like, fuck it, But he has arthritis, so he asked me if I could wrap a blunt for him. I'm like, yeah, sure. So I go home, and I start wrapping the blunt, right? And it's fucking getting to me. I'm a little pissed off, right? I think, fuck it, man. So I grab a little bit of his brother's ashes and sprinkle inside of the blunt. Because fuck that guy. Thank you.
Fuck yeah. Michael Cansino.
He said thank you before the cat went.
Yeah, he did.
Which I feel like makes it less awkward, but Tony doesn't like it when you do that.
Yeah,
One
he
time
said.
when I was up, I just said meow, to end the suffering. And then everyone else did the same thing the entire night,
Yeah.
and I was like,
look what you started.
That's funny.
And it's continued. There have been some other episodes recently
Yeah.
where comics have done them. Yeah.
comics have been like, that's all I have. Like, I'm not just gonna sit here for another 7 seconds.
Yeah, I'm not gonna I'm letting you dictate how long I'm up
Some
here.
people need
Nothing
to
makes
growl
me.
instead of meowing.
So, all the
Nothing makes-
viewers just heard his set,
Yeah.
Yes.
and you guys just barely watched the episode.
Sure.
So I watched it yesterday. And just so that you all understand, because Phoenix, this aired on like the 26th, January, we are playing just the 1-minute segments from every comic that was up that night just to refresh your memories. Okay? So we're not trying to take any thunder, but there it is. So Michael Cantsee, he's the apartment maintenance guy.
Yep.
What are our thoughts? Thoughts, impressions?
I think that 100% he didn't actually put the ashes in the joint.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that was a good joke and people didn't see it coming.
Right, it was structurally
Yeah.
pretty sound. And it was his first time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Lots of first timers. I think that's the big
Comic.
theme from
So
this
in
episode.
this show, I will have very little commentary because everything I wrote on my notes is terribly shitty until they say at the end it's their first time. I would like to say that I would appreciate it if you would say, "It's my first time first." So my notes aren't like, "What a lame ass fucker! I can't even believe he did." Oh, it's his first.
Don't
now
read.
I have to write first. I'm
Don't
just.
read your notes
Do you
on
think
Alice.
that would help or hurt you on Kill Tony if you walked up and you're like, just so everyone knows I've
It's
never
my
done
first
this,
time.
okay, so airport food.
Yeah.
I think it would help you.
You think it would help if they
And
let
because
that up
every
top?
time that people say it, it's he gives them he's like super
Right.
gentle with them.
Right.
And like, "Oh, it's your first time. Well, good for you. You know, if you need work," or it's not as like a harsh
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm in
Like, if you
Alice's
bomb
camp
and-
here. I don't think that's a good idea because I feel like I admire his courage. You get up there, you do whatever happens, and then at the
Yeah.
end, when you reveal it, hey,
Right.
this is one of my first times
Like,
doing
okay,
it.
all right.
Yeah.
I think it's also better to hold on to it because if
Yeah.
you do well and you're like, hey, it's my first time, they're like, whoa, you're great.
Yeah.
But if you do dog shit and you're like, hey, it's my first time, they're like, oh, you know what, you
It's your
did, you
first
got
time.
up
Yeah,
there.
You got
that's
up there.
true. That's a good point.
I think it
Okay.
always works to your advantage
I
to
think
do
it
it
just
later.
doesn't
Yeah, that's
work
true.
to my advantage while taking notes.
Well, of course not. But that's just
So
you.
that's what
you know?
happens, 'cause
So
then
you
I
gotta
feel like-
revamp your notes.
I feel like a jerk.
So no one else is taking notes during it anyway.
Fucking when Go was up, I think he said it was his first time, and all the comments like, no, you fuck, we've seen you everywhere. You've been every fucking way.
Yeah.
Oh,
It
yeah.
was like, it's my
yeah.
first time doing comedy, and we're like, no, it
No,
fucking is
it
not.
isn't. Yeah.
He
Oh,
used
wow.
to open for Russell Brand's show. Like, you fucking did not.
Oh my
Someone
god.
made up that lie.
So this Michael Cancino guy, the first thing I noticed, and sorry, I'm not showing my face, so it's really not even fair, just the way the camera's set up.
God.
But I just noticed that this is not an
You're
LA
not in the
comic.
shot.
I mean, we got LA comics, and they come out and they got a little bit of style like Alice over here.
Indeed.
And then
Indeed.
you get the whole the Phoenix troupe, and they just look like a bunch of regular like folks. So that's the first thing I noticed. I noticed that not only with Michael, but with his brother and several other comics. Like, this doesn't look like an LA group. Not judging the comedy, but
Yeah.
just like watching the show. That's the first thing that stuck out to
Interesting.
me.
That's because everyone in LA is like, what's my brand?
Right.
It's like, who gives a fuck?
Hypersensitive.
I like that there's not like a thing in the traveling shows because everyone's like, I'm just here to tell jokes. I'm
Yeah.
not here to try to angle you.
Yeah.
Well, I
or
don't
when,
even know if everyone was there to tell jokes. I think a lot of people love the show, and they were first timers. So will they do it again? How many open micers that do it for the first time come back? I don't know.
I'll tell. Yeah. I mean, we'll get to the last guy, but Scott Sandry had better do it again because he freaking rocked it. But anyway, Michael Cancino. Yeah. I mean, what do you say about a person's first time? It was good. You
Yeah.
know.
Right.
Good job. Getting
I
out
like
there
it.
and doing it.
Well, he knew the show well enough to. He was scared to say that he played the guitar because I thought he thought they might say, "Hey, let's do a guitar off."
Yeah.
No. Chroma Chris isn't going.
So at least we know he's a fan, and for his first time, I think he did all right. He did better than most LA comics that go for the first time, in my opinion.
Yeah.
True.
LA comics that go for the first time have too goddamn much confidence. And you're
Right?
like, nothing makes me
Tone it
laugh
down.
harder than when they're done at like 37 seconds and it's like, why didn't you have more time? It's like, I wanted to leave pauses for laughs. It's like,
Yes.
take your shit to an
That's
open
funny.
mic first to see if it's even fucking
Try
gonna
it
be
out.
laughs.
Yeah.
They want to save their comedy cherry for Kill Tony or whatever.
They want to make it
I'm
special.
so glad I
They want
didn't
it to
do
be
that
special.
because I actually wanted to do that. I was gonna do that, and then
I was like, I want to get up there and I want to do well.
so
of course,
I
right?
changed my mind though. I decided to not save my first time for there.
In my opinion, the smarter choice.
I
Yeah.
thought I was gonna do well. I didn't do well, but you know, there's always next time. There's always next time.
Hey,
You
we've
did
all
good
got
in the
next
interview.
time.
You did
I
good in the
did.
interview.
We've all got
So
next
you
time.
gotta-
I will say
Forward.
this about Tony's road. I want him to meet a Mexican or Hispanic or Latino X, whatever you want to be called. I want him to meet one of you
Latinx.
and not comment about the caravan. Can you do that, Tony? All right?
Right, that's always his thing.
Hey, it's topical though.
Right.
What we
It
like
is.
the caravan. It's topical.
alright.
That's so good.
Yeah, now it's like, oh, again.
People are like, hey,
alright.
news.
Hey, we
We're
get it.
all
We get the
good,
joke. We know our news.
It's
All right.
Tony. You can do it.
I like.
Okay, next comic was Alice Hamilton. Who we
Yeah,
have here with us.
Hamilton.
She sounds awful.
Funny.
So can I
It's
say
Hamilton, everybody. She's here. Alice Hamilton. Hey. Come on, make some fucking noise, Phoenix.
She's got a great outfit on.
Not all babies are cute.
What a cunt. I hate
My mom opened a daycare center in my house when I was 7 years old. I've nannied and babysat for over 40 families, and I ran my own daycare center for 3 years. So if I tell you that your baby is ugly, that is my professional opinion. I don't like nannying for white kids because when they cry in public, it looks like I'm kidnapping them. I have a car seat in my car because I'm a nanny, and when you have a car seat in your car, your friends don't assume it's because you're a nanny. They assume that you've had a baby this entire time that you just never told them about. Your new boyfriend will also think that, and there will be a lot of fear in his eyes when he looks over at you and goes, "Oh, you have a kid?" And I was like, "No, I am just planning for our future."
There you go, Alice Hamilton, everybody. Good set.
Was that what did I didn't even say that was based before.
Yeah, yeah.
First impressions.
done.
Hate the outfit.
Wait, oh! I know, you
Is it
don't
not
get to
sparkly?
talk about yourself first. We all talk about you.
Oh,
You just say.
Yeah, it was.
To your face. We tell you to your face.
So Alice Hamilton, shockingly not sparkly that evening. That was the. I loved it. So I have kids, so I relate to the nanny thing because I nanny all the time. Yeah, I liked it. I liked it a lot. Very strong.
Sexiest nanny I've ever seen. Not sure.
So,
Me?
I thought you looked really beautiful. And I liked your
Like a
socks
star.
also as this
She's
did
shiny.
red band. I
Yeah.
thought they were boots, okay?
Oh my gosh.
And that's what I was thinking in my mind, like, wow, she looks gorgeous. I like that outfit. And also, I really liked your ugly baby jokes.
Thank you.
Oh
because
yes,
that
was
is
hilarious.
true. That
Yes.
is real
It
stuff.
is-
You
it
know,
is real.
Seinfeld had a whole episode about that.
They did.
I have a
It's very
question.
funny.
I have a question. When Joelberg said, "Don't say master around her," the audience began to chant. What were they chanting?
Joelberg.
Were they? Yeah, they were
Yeah,
tossing
they're
in some
chanting
Joelbergs.
Joelberg.
Oh, they were
They were
saying
chanting
Joelberg,
Joelberg.
Joelberg.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
that means because they like that joke.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what we do at the
I
comedy
thought,
store.
no, I thought it was somewhat like I don't know why.
Have you been
I don't
to
know.
this show?
I don't know why I thought it was like the Apollo 13, like saying, "Oh, that was a racist joke. Don't say that." But I forgot we're in Arizona and they're racist as
Yeah.
fuck.
Yeah.
The more racist, the better.
They were like, "Go Joelberg, yeah!"
Yeah.
Fucking
Tell 'em.
assholes.
I don't know. They got anyway. We'll
So I
get to
thought
the
you
next
came up
comment.
with a lot of well-deserved confidence because your jokes were fucking awesome.
I was fucking out
It's
of
tight.
breath than a motherfucker because I was running up from the back.
From the camera
and then
shoot. Yeah.
I've timed that bit out before, and it always went over a minute, a few seconds. And so the fact that it ended before the cat meowed, I was like, oh, I was talking fast because I was nervous
Yeah.
and B completely fucking out of breath.
Yeah.
Right.
So it always goes though.
Yeah,
I
I'd say it was
always-
more impressive knowing you made that switch because that's a rough thing from like going from I'm behind the camera to front. Like it's a rough transition, and to do it smooth like that, props.
Yeah.
I felt like I was like, oh shit, I ran all the way up there, and then the second I got up there, I remembered that like in LA, whenever any of my friends get called, I grab their arm and like, don't run, just walk, you'll be out of breath.
Oh.
Cause like in LA, you always see the people that are like, oh,
Yeah.
man,
Yeah.
I'm out of
winded.
breath.
was in Phoenix, I fucking forgot that, and I ran the whole way up because I was like, oh, I'm so far back, I can't drag this. Yeah.
Right.
I can play it off, but I was rushing through that whole thing.
But you know, Alice, I'm glad that you're saying that because that validates the fact that, you know, we were all thinking that maybe it was rigged, but the fact that you're saying that you were out of breath and you
can see that I'm out of breath.
Yeah, it's like you could, if you knew that you were gonna be called up, you would have been maybe waiting up there like I'm gonna be called up. I'm gonna wait close to the stage. But yeah, so for all of you thinking that these shows are rigged, it's an example here that it's not. So thank you for saying that.
I've been drinking long enough to where I don't remember if we were talking about this before we started recording.
Oh, sure.
But there have been episodes where I've been at the show where Tony's like, if I was gonna rig the bucket, I wouldn't do this.
Yeah.
And that's a testament to the fact that it's not rigged. The show has the capacity to go so far off the rails. But sometimes that's the fucking best when you just see like dog shit comic and then the panel gets to tear them apart.
Right.
And that's the fucking
There was one time where I swore that it was rigged, and it was when Ichabod came and he brought his friend with him.
Oh yeah. It seemed like it. It
seemed like it, but then again, just like when the way it happened with you, the way it happens with Aphrodite, it doesn't happen.
Yeah, if you'd see people that came up and they were polished, you'd be like, oh, they knew ahead of time. But when you see people come up and then someone's like, oh, they got rigged. I'm like, I think if they knew they were coming up, they would have fucking been a little more chill.
Yeah.
Like, I would have done better if I knew I was going up.
Is their dad African?
What was that?
Is your dad not African American, but like of African descent?
No, he was born on the East Coast.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, in like Georgia or Florida.
Most of the black men that I know that hate other black men are African.
It's here's the thing. Actually, it's like tricky. It's like
is it more of a religious thing?
No, it's when racists always say the same shit. And they're like, oh, I just don't trust black people because, this black person and that black person and the next black person, they were all mean to me. And so now I just don't trust any of them. And some black people are like, fuck you, motherfucker. Like, if someone's a dick to you, you can't be like, anyone else who looks like him can eat a dick.
Right.
But a handful of people will be like, who are these other black people that keep making me look bad?
Right.
And that's where you get Ben Carson. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
that's where that kicks
in.
in.
So do you think that is, I have a question, and this may be, I'm just going to ask it. So do you think it's fair to say that the same thing should go towards white people when people are like, feel like that, like when they think, oh, all white people are horrible?
Well, that's the thing. You see that in mass shootings. Whenever it's like a murderer who's like, I mean, this is all light and funny, hilarious stuff.
No, this is good.
But
I'm just curious though, because
whenever it's a white person, they're like, oh, it's a Lone Ranger individual, and then whenever it's a brown person, they're like the culture, the race, the religion, whatever it is that you can pin on the entire community. And it's like you guys get to be individuals, and because of that, there's less community, but when you're also like responsible for everything else that everyone else does, you're like, we're all in this together and we're pals. And like, if I'm at a rodeo if something's gone horribly wrong in my life and I wind up at a rodeo
or horribly well,
and I see another black person, we're like, oh my god, like,
thank
hey,
goodness. Yeah, right.
You're friends with people in certain situations. It's fun. It's fun.
Well, see, that's white people are individuals because we have no culture. That's
100%. You guys totally have fucking culture.
Mayonnaise is not a culture. So you can take that back right now.
No, are you kidding me? Kissing your dog on the mouth? That is white culture all the way. 100%.
Guilty as charged.
Non-dancing at concerts, white culture.
See, our culture is the lack of other culture.
I just want to go on record and say that Seth and I are not the same race. Okay?
Oh, okay.
Just to make sure we know that. I'm from a different culture.
Is to not be friends with each other.
Yeah, exactly.
It's called capitalism.
That's why we're
Yeah. I was reading the comment section underneath this episode, and I was like, happy that most of the comments were positive.
Yeah.
I mean, all of them were positive pretty much, but There was one guy that said that he thought that I was rigged up because I mentioned that I brought the drums. And I just want to say that was like me in a panic, like, fuck, what do I say? And then as soon as I said, I was like, what the fuck did I say that?
Right.
Now everyone's going to think.
Then later I realized, like, because I said that, that's going to look like it was,
right.
I was rigged
up. And it did, because that's what I thought.
Well, if that was rigged, then this would have been rigged too, because the next person that came up was a brother of the first person that came up. And that's very suspicious, if you ask me.
Yes.
Let's take a look at Reuben Cantsee.
Make some noise for Reuben Cantsee, everybody. This is incredible. Reuben Cantsee, get your fucking ass up here. You are next. My guess is they're probably brothers. Probably one thinks they can outdo the other one. Here he comes, Reuben Cantsee, everybody.
Hey, what's up, guys? So, I had no idea that the PlayStation camera had a mic that worked 24/7 when you're playing online. I tend to just, in the middle of a maybe online game, just drop my remote and pull my phone out and start watching porn. And so when I come, I kind of make weird-ass noises, so... I don't know how many people heard me just fucking... So yeah, that sucked. Did not expect to get called up here, so... That's all I got, guys.
All right, that's all he's got. Reuben Cantsee.
He's so bad. I will be right back.
Okay.
I will. I won't knock over the cameras of the show that I am a guest on.
Yeah.
They assume this direction.
Yes.
I'll be right back.
Can you pause for a minute?
No, so this we'll just keep it rolling. So this Reuben character, another thing that felt super like this is not LA is that his story afterwards had to do with encountering a transgender person. It didn't have any meat to it. It was just like I saw a transgender person and it freaked me out.
Well, this was the guy. My favorite was this was the guy that was like, I don't want to use the incorrect term.
Yeah.
And then said tranny.
Right.
Which is like.
Tranny.
The best,
that's
right?
The worst one.
Right.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
So I personally couldn't relate to any of his jokes and a lot of the stuff that they joked about also because it was all about like video games. So if you're not a gamer, you may not get it.
Oh, the puns you mean that the band was making and things like that?
And yeah, just in general, like the PlayStation.
Sure, fair enough. I enjoyed. Yeah, I enjoyed the puns.
I didn't understand it much.
I enjoyed the puns.
Just because I don't play video games. And I also thought it was weird about...
Way to not relate with something, Erica.
I'm just saying, so I didn't think it was funny.
Yeah, no, fair enough.
You didn't like it? Say it was so funny. Jennifer was funny. No.
So,
I didn't get it.
So he jacked off playing the video game. I guess the video game has a...
I understood that part.
A speaker on it,
right?
Yeah. So...
Yeah, I guess. Right,
But
a camera.
Do you know what those are, Abraham? So you don't...
What is?
Any of those things, like the headset and
the PS4.
The PS4 and all that. You're familiar with that equipment? You use it?
Somewhat.
That's what the kids refer to as meta comedy.
So you don't know either.
Well, I got the puns. I got the jokes,
I got the joke about jacking off. But I didn't get the joke about all the they were making video game references. Video. You knew all those games?
Alright, well, those companies, let's keep it rolling.
I'm just
Alex
asking
is going to get out of here soon, and we still got 6 more comments.
Yeah, you guys can argue about that after the episode. Point is, people who enjoy video games and who know of companies that produce and make video games probably enjoy the puns.
So how did we get to them talking about fingering his butthole from his girlfriend? Like, he got to the second knuckle, and how did we get to
It was a weird jump, but I want to jump ahead to Adam Lundquist.
Yeah, let's go to Adam Lundquist. Reuben Cantsee, first time, well done.
Lundquist, everyone. Adam Lundquist. Rock you like a hurricane. Here he comes. Rock you like a hurricane. Adam Lundquist, ladies and gentlemen.
Woo! How's it going? Oh, I see why most of you are alcoholics. This is nerve-wracking. I think I've been getting bit by dogs too often. I mean, on my way over here, walking through my neighborhood, and a dog came up to me, growling, like charging at me, and my first reaction was to just kick it. And like, it wasn't even big enough to feel okay about kicking. Like, but I didn't realize until it was already over the fence. So, the first time I got bit by a dog, though, was by my dad's barber. I was like 7 years old. It wasn't really traumatic because he didn't break the skin, but it was more my dad's barber grabbing him by the throat and throwing him into the shed in 120-degree weather in Arizona.
There you go.
All right. So Adam Lundquist struggles with dogs. The last joke. Sorry, what did you want to say?
It started with jokes and ended with just animal abuse. That's what the fuck happened with that.
And his last joke, I think what he's saying is he got bit at his dad had a barber, and he was at the barber shop, and the barber had a dog that bit him.
Which,
right?
like, I hate when people bring their animals to work. Personal opinion.
Sure.
Just because, shit like that goes down. I used to have, like, a youth pastor who'd bring their animals, they'd bring their dogs to church, and I was like, bitch, like, people might be allergic.
Right? Has anybody here ever got bitten by a dog?
A word.
I have. I was knocking door to doors when I was like 13 selling candy, and I was a chubby little kid, and I knocked on this door, and this white lady came out, and her dog, little white fluffy dog, came running out. I was like, arr, 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 and kind of like boo-boo, and jumped up on me and bit me in the stomach, and I was like, ah!
Boo-boo doesn't bite.
No, I know, but just barking. You know, he just came out barking.
His size was like
yeah. So he jumped up and bit me in my stomach, and I was like, I was so shocked, and she was like, oh, you're fine. What are you selling? I'll buy it, right? So, yeah, I had like these 2 bite marks, and yeah, nothing happened, but could have got some money there.
I mean, if you're knocking on the door, you're asking for it.
Right.
Just
And other than Boo Boo, little dogs are the worst.
Worst.
They are the worst.
Well,
Boo Boo's awesome though. Boo Boo's special.
I got bit in the eye by an Australian Shepherd.
Oh my
right in the fucking face, and that's not a small dog.
Yeah, no, that is a big dog.
Right here. At someone's house, I was playing with their toy, and the dog just got pissed and bit me in the face. And I had to like hold it together because I was like really uncomfortable.
Yeah.
This guy Adam,
like this.
he was super nervous. This guy Adam was super nervous.
You could see him shaking, but he fucking got a great laugh for being that nervous. Fucking good for this guy.
Yeah, I think he did all right.
Yeah, I thought he had some of the best reactions from the audience that you could hear on the tape. I don't know how it sounded in the actual room, but on the recording, he seemed to get some good reactions.
That's the thing about the fucking traveling shows is people are happy for you.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. It's a positive thing.
Yeah.
The thing that bothered me with him is his interview part when Tony kept saying, so just show me how you would pet a dog if a dog came up to you, and the guy just wouldn't do it. I think I personally get frustrated with that.
Yeah.
I think just it's a personal opinion because I do think he was funny and his nervous energy made it more funny like in his comedy.
Yeah.
But then when someone's saying like, okay, we're gonna role play now, you know, and he just like really, he was like, had to tell him like 20 times, and the guy just wouldn't do it, and it was driving me nuts.
Yeah,
I like that because I think the audience thinks it's funny when Tony's like, for fuck's sake, like when Tony gets exasperated, they think it's funny. And also like when you're up there and you're on stage and they're like, do an act out, you feel like a fucking idiot, and you don't want to do it.
Right.
You know.
And he killed it at the end. He killed it at the end when he did like this. You know,
just
he
ignored the
dog. Yeah, and just went like that.
The thing was, it didn't matter what he was gonna do. The dog was gonna bite him.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's the way Tony had it set up.
Right.
Regardless, he was gonna get bit. Anyway, Ken, any thoughts?
You know what? You guys said it all. He was a pleasure to watch. Definitely nervous, but he should be. You know, probably the biggest stage he's performed on. You know, as of yet, and it was fucking cool to watch him do it. I got no stories about being bitten by a dog. Sorry, but next guy up was
Kyle Whelan.
Kyle Whelan.
And before we do this, I want to tell you guys a story because I was driving up, and I was originally going to be driving up with the drums, the guitar, Chroma Chris, William Montgomery. William Montgomery cancels at the last minute, and I fucking mean the last minute. We were leaving at 4 a.m.
William.
And we get a text at 2 a.m. and he's like, I can't go.
He has to go to work.
And like, if you are a fan of the show, you've seen Joel talk about the fact that like William will like do fake outs and he's like, oh, I can't
So you're like, is he really coming or not?
Yeah, and so we were like, okay, you can't make it, but then he was like, no, like I'm not coming. And I was like, oh, okay. But like, as I was like rolling out of the driveway, as we were leaving, I was like, am I gonna run into him in the middle of the street with a suitcase? Just like, kidding you guys, I'm coming. Like, it wasn't until we were on the freeway where I was like, I guess he's not coming. I guess he's really not coming. But he wanted to go because it's Arizona. He's got his stories about Arizona, and also like, it was his birthday, but he just couldn't get the time off of work, or else he would have been there.
Well, he ended up missing work, right?
Yeah, and then he decided to do like drugs or something and miss work. He said that on the Kill Tony show the week after that.
No, I think he legit.
We talked about that.
He holds a job down.
Yeah.
Oh, he was just faking down. Oh, he was faking on that. I don't know.
He's silly. People go for it. Like, yeah. He's great, but.
That's so funny.
All right, well, thanks for sharing that story because that was a big topic of discussion on the show. What happened to William Montgomery?
Yeah,
why did he miss that opportunity?
Yeah,
he should have been there, but it's good to know that he's responsible.
Yeah. Yes, and I think that's a testament to the fact that like people don't get rigged up because there was another woman in the audience who I think she used to be a regular on the show very early on. And if he was gonna rig people up for the Phoenix show, she would have gotten up for sure. Yeah. And also, whenever he does that, he's like, we have a regular on the show, but he's not here, so how about a minute from ba-ba-da?
Sure.
Right.
And, like, if he was going to rig someone up, he would have just been like, hey, I'm giving you this, and not, you know.
Right, he doesn't tell you ahead of time. I noticed he doesn't even do that with Aphrodite's before I've been there with her, and, like, she didn't even know he was going to call her up on stage, but he's like, all right, we can't end like this. Aphrodite, come do 1 minute. I've seen that happen.
Yeah.
Right.
So she didn't know ahead of time, though.
All right, let's talk about Kyle Whelan.
Kyle Whelan. Didn't remember his jokes while he was on stage.
For Kyle Whelan, everyone. Kyle Whelan. Hey, say it ain't so. Whoa, whoa. Your love is a heartbreaker. Hey.
They're working on
Saw a commercial on TV for Mike's Hard Lemonade. It was on an old episode of To Catch a Predator, where every pedophile on the show seemed to bring a six-pack of Mike's Hard Lemonade to the house to fuck a child. Not the greatest product placement in the world. Well, when I saw Chris Hansen go up and confront that 8th or 9th pedophile of the day, holding that cold six-pack of Mike's Hard in his hands, I can only think one question. Who is Mike? Does anyone know who Mike is?
Kyle,
Oh, man.
It's all coming back now.
Indeed, indeed. So, the Mike's Hard Lemonade did not quite land, I don't think, the way that he'd hoped.
I mean, fucking, you heard the way it landed. It landed so soft, like, fucking, like, he had the confidence, but then when he could see that it wasn't going well, he was like, oh, I can't let him know that it's not going. It's like, we can tell, sweetie,
Everyone
it's okay,
knows.
we've all been there, you don't have to
But again, his first time up, so...
Was that his first time up?
That was his first time up. So, you know...
My first time up, I was always so jealous of people who had that level of confidence. Because my voice was... my whole body was shaking the first time I got on stage, which is bullshit, because I've been, like, taking acting classes. So, like, this is like doing a monologue.
Yeah,
it's fucking
get
not.
a character.
For whatever reason, it's
so much more connected.
Right. Yeah. It's
because
terrifying.
it's not someone else's bullshit words. It's like,
Yeah,
I wrote
it's
this,
you.
and if it's dog shit, it's on me.
They hate me.
Yeah.
So, you know, he kept it calm. He may have been panicking inside, but like
he kept his cool. He just
kept
looked
it-
at the ground and
kept the
swinging
composure.
the microphone.
It looked like he had
forward a
liquid
bunch.
courage. It looked like he had liquid courage, like he was drinking
Well, he
for
took
the
some.
nerves,
Yeah, for
which
sure.
would affect his set. If
I
he
highly do not recommend drinking or smoking before you go on stage. There's
Yeah,
some people that
I
that's
agree.
like that's
That's
their
when they
thing,
do it.
like
Yeah.
a Mitch Hedberg,
Right.
fucking great.
Right.
But for the majority of people,
Yeah.
I'm gonna
you're
go
not-
ahead and say go up sober
Mm.
because you need to be
Amen.
fucking in control of your shit.
And then
Amen to
drink
that.
away
I
the depression
totally agree.
afterward.
Are you
I
against
mean-
even one shot?
What'd you say?
Are you against one shot? Like one alcoholic beverage before you go
I'll
perform?
have like a sip or two of whatever my drink is, but like I try to always go on stage sober. Cause if I'm not, I'm like I feel like I'm fucking kind of wasting a little bit of time
Yeah.
for myself.
Yeah.
But there's other people that work differently, so you know what?
Yeah.
I'm not trying to preach.
Right.
I don't know shit. If it works
Right.
for you, fucking do it, I guess.
Right.
Fair enough.
Shot
But
works.
I think most people
more
who
than a
think
shot
that it
can't
works
do it.
for them, it doesn't
I'm a
work for
person
them.
that drinks
Yeah.
one shot before
Yeah.
they do any open micing. That's
Well, you
why.
know.
Not to several boots.
For the nerves, I guess
one.
it's okay. For the
One
nerves,
shot.
if it helps,
Yeah.
yeah.
But this guy also had the drum off, and dude, this guy could play the drums.
Yeah, he did really
He
well.
played really well, I thought.
But Joelberg still fucking smoked the shit out of him.
Well,
I
I
don't
want
get that it's not about showmanship.
see, and I want someone to do exactly what Tony is like. I'm afraid.
Well, that's why Joel still had. That's why he's undefeated. That's
Of
a
course.
really hard
If
thing
anyone
to
else
come
can go
across.
up.
Like an excellent drummer that also has like comedic timing and stage presence.
I mean, if
and
someone else just got naked on stage and then drummed a bit,
I don't know if it would go over.
I don't
as
know.
well.
It'll
We'll
be
see.
interesting to see if somebody gives Joelberg a run for his money. See
I
what
mean, we've
happens.
had a couple people.
Yeah.
We've had a
Close.
couple people.
The
Now
Hollywood
that-
Joker was very close to doing
Last
it. The
week.
mask helped.
Yeah, he
that was a
was.
good gimmick.
Yeah.
That was a good
He should have
choice.
taken
Right.
off his shirt. He might have had it. Anyhow.
That's true.
All right, we gotta hurry.
First leg over
We're running.
shoulder.
So, yeah.
Let's go to Ross Dinsdale.
All right, let's
He was
do
our
it.
next one.
Of Ross Dinsdale, everyone. Make some noise for Ross. Whoa! Big pop from the comedy side.
Here he comes, coming up fast. He's high-fiving everyone instead of walking to the stage.
Hey. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh, hello! Oh man, I wrote stuff down so I don't forget. Do you guys? Oh man, do you guys ever go to places and you don't want to talk to anybody? Because I have a simple way where people won't go to talk to you. Maybe you go to Taco Bell and you're like, no one's gonna talk to me. I immediately go to the bathroom. I assume the position between stall A and stall B, and I start to pee. And I wash my hands and I walk out. No one's going to fucking talk to you. Holy cow. I feel like I'm gonna have a heart attack. I feel like I just did a line of coke. This is awesome. Oh, you guys have no idea. My heart's not beating. It's... Fuck. Is there a cardiologist in the room? No, okay. If you go to court and you take a shit in the courthouse, is it called a civic duty?
All right, Ross Dinsdale, everybody. Ross Dinsdale.
I love that you can tell how Tony feels about you in 2
He's
seconds.
like, all right.
All right. All right.
Okay, we see what this is.
Yeah, I love it. So he's been doing it 9 months, so we could critique him a little bit harder, this Ross Dinsdale fellow.
He strikes me as like a gimmick. Like, he's got a gimmick.
Yeah.
And the local scene loves him because he commits to the gimmick.
Right.
Like, for some Kill Tony fans, they'll remember Goat versus Fish.
Right.
He's an LA comedy scene gimmick.
Right.
And people just laugh because, like, it's been fucking over a year and this dude's still doing this fucking shit.
Yeah.
And so, I think he's their version of that.
Mm-hmm.
Where, like, the local scene loves him just because he's there and you're like, are you serious, bro? Every single day. And if someone hits you like that every single day, you're like, here he is.
Yeah.
He's just a part of your weird life.
Yeah.
But the crowd who didn't know him, because the comics section blew up for that guy. His name was called.
Yeah, you can hear it. You can hear it.
They fucking blew. I could see it. They jumped out of their chairs because they all knew him, but then the crowd didn't know him, and they're like, "What the fuck am I looking at right now?
What is going on?"
Something tells me that the comics know him in a way that he didn't portray himself on stage.
That's the impression that I got. I was like, whatever they're popping for didn't happen.
Right.
Unless you're right. Unless it's just simply he's committed to that, character, and they've seen him through and through, and they're like, oh, hey, this might work. This quirky show might be great for you. Maybe not. Though.
It's like when the LA scene is like, oh, it's Goat versus Fish. You know some weird shit's about to go down. I think that's what happened in LA. I don't think any of them were like, he's gonna crush. They were like, oh, here's our weird.
Let's Let's just see how these two forces interact. Now, during Ross, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, please, Erica.
No, I think he's funny, and I think sometimes it's hard to do 1 minute of comedy and really get a feel for a person if you haven't seen him perform before. I like his jacket. Copus owns the same jacket.
Do not.
Yes, you do. That weird leather one that you got at the thrift store. It's the same jacket he has.
It's a fine looking jacket.
And similar. And he's
similar.
similar. It's similar. And I mean, Red Band did call it and say that he looked like the guy from Leave and Loathing in Las Vegas or whatever.
Fear and Loathing.
Fear and Loathing. I said that at home at the house watching it before Red Band.
See, and I was thinking the No Country for Old Men, which is what Tony.
Oh yeah, that's similar.
Totally
but I don't know. Sometimes I've seen other people that did really bad on Kill Tony, but I've seen them do other stand up where they had more time and they're really kind of funny. Sometimes hard to get a minute out.
Oh yeah, I think it's always hard to get a minute. A good minute.
I've seen you be really funny before, Seth, and your minute didn't go so well on there.
Not so well.
Twice.
So I've only seen you once, but you did bad. But I've seen your other comedy, and you've done good.
Like tonight, you did really well tonight.
Hey, thanks. Let's talk about the show. So, Ross, my favorite moment was the breakdance moment. So this was where Jeremiah kept on breakdancing, and Red Band was playing the
music.
Tony was getting so frustrated.
I think it always makes everyone laugh when Tony's
I do like seeing
gets
Tony.
exasperated.
Yes.
I think that's fun.
I love it.
How much of that is an act, do you think? I got the impression it was a little bit of an act from Tony.
I don't know him well enough to know whether or not that is an act. I will say for your guys' show here, you guys should be fucking meaner to these people. I think you guys should be.
To the comics that go up?
Yeah. So usually we're really mean to them, but I'm playing super softball tonight because you're here, and we get a lot of hate.
You think I'm friends with these fucking
We get a lot of hate, hate comments. We get a lot of hate comments, so we're trying a different format.
Something tells me that Tony was kicking Red Band under the table, like, stop egging them on, stop playing the music.
Sometimes we hate
I don't know.
I wish I had my other notes.
I think it's different when like you're out. You weren't there, right? In LA, I see these people. I can smell these people. I can know like what they're doing up there. I might have seen them at other mics, so I can give a harsher opinion. But when I just don't know this person,
you want to give them the benefit of the doubt.
I want to give them the benefit of the doubt.
That's fair.
I'm like, look, you could possibly do something. Well, I didn't see it that night. I was just confused about the pop. Well, your theory makes sense to me. Abraham's theory makes sense to me. I don't know.
Yeah.
You probably know better because you were there. You know, if I had to put money on it, I bet you're right because you were there and you actually saw him in the flesh. So you're probably like,
they loved him, and then he came up and was like, huh? And it's like, yeah, you're nervous, and it's like a quote big opportunity, but. Yeah, I think he was like a gimmick for them, and they're like, oh, this weirdo is gonna be so weird, and then he got too nervous and tried to be cool.
Right.
And it was like, whatever.
But and it's still.
Before I dip out, because I do have to dip out, I do want to say that like after this, like I was drinking so fucking much after the show.
What?
Because I was fucking nervous as fuck.
Is that right?
Yeah, it was cool. You know, may have wound up at a strip club, but Arizona, I'll say Phoenix has some fine strippers.
Interesting.
I will leave on that. Arizona, your strippers. Some of them should move to LA. Some of them should stay. Some of them 100% for sure stay. Others of them, you know what? You're better than
Arizona.
Better than Arizona.
Thank you guys.
There you go.
Yeah,
Thank you so much for coming
on.
on.
It was so much fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a blast.
Really appreciate it. If you could put in a good word with Tony Hinchcliffe,
Oh, because we're best friends.
Yeah.
Or give us a shout out. Give us a shout out.
I know you have a lot of sway.
Well, I have so much pull. No, fucking I have no pull.
Give me a pull next time, okay?
Yes.
Can
Everyone who thinks I can get them pulled, I fucking can't. Thank you.
Unless you give her money. Right, and
then I'll take your money and then be like, oh, you must have forgot. Thanks for the 20, bruh.
Alice, it was a pleasure.
Can I get a picture next time?
Yeah, a picture. Yeah, I'll take a picture next time.
Yeah, man.
I
got clout.
Oh my god.
If you want a picture, you fucking better smash that like button, okay?
Fuck yeah.
Do you need to be watched to your car?
Shit, Alice, I'll like every goddamn picture on your page.
Right, I'm stalking now.
Like, comment,
I love it.
comment.
Follow.
Repost,
Do you want to plug anything before you go? Any upcoming shows or things you want to plug?
I'm doing a show at the Comedy Store on Thursday.
Nice.
This is out before then. And you can follow me on Instagram, MISS Alice Hamilton. Thank you guys for having me. This was
Thank
fun.
you for coming on. Really appreciate it.
Appreciate you.
Drive safely.
With your alcoholic beverage in your hand.
It's gone now, right?
Do you want to switch over?
It's gone.
Yeah,
you want me to scoot down?
Let's just go ahead and scoot it up.
I'll scoot down.
So we can get, we're just going to let her leave without walking
Alice, you're a treasure.
You're okay, Alice?
You okay, Alice?
Good, yeah, I'm great.
Oh shit.
Well, we're going to watch the news later and make sure. We'll see. We'll find out if Alice made it home safely or not.
All right.
Cool. Now you're in the shot, right?
I'm in the shot now.
You exist.
Hi, Ken.
You exist.
I do.
Good, dude. Okay, I love the breakdancing.
Just so everybody knows, too, I'm going to speak on Alice's behalf. We were supposed to be set up probably a half an hour earlier. We fucked up. We did a mic that ran too long. And then she stayed as long as she could. And we really, really appreciate her coming on the show.
Right. Thank you, Alice.
Thank you. You
You're
want
the
to get to
best.
Steve?
Cool. Should we talk about Steve? Steve Udis? Udis?
Uris.
I couldn't understand.
Uris. Or Frizz. Stevie Aris.
Here he comes.
Thing you do, breaking my heart into a million pieces, like you always do. Stevie Aris, ladies and gentlemen, come on.
I kind of look like Adam if he got a job, right? Cleaned up. Adam, the guy got bit by the dog. Never mind. Anyways. Or Kyle if he joined a gym. Anyways. Maybe you guys saw me here tonight with this pretty young Mexican lady. She is not a prostitute. That's my wife. Yeah. She's Mexican. She's a little bit racist. Funny thing, on the way over here, I asked her, I said, you think it'd be funny if I used the N-word in a joke tonight? And she said, depends on how many are there. That's a... No, I didn't say it. You thought it, I said it. That's it. I'm about to pass out.
Yeah, he's about to fucking pass out. Doing that thing you do.
Also his first time. And his biggest joke came from his wife, which I don't know, I'm on the fence about this, because I have kids, I pull material for my kids, I pull material for my wife as well.
Yeah.
And I don't know how I feel necessarily always about it. You know? Sometimes it's like, well, maybe they should just tell the joke then. If my kids are so funny, why am I the one on stage?
Well,
You know
because
what I mean?
you're telling the story that other people aren't there to see, so you're telling your perception of it, and that's what's funny, you know. For him to tell us about what went on with his, that shit was funny, you know.
Yeah.
And it was funny because it makes you paint a picture like, damn, who is this bitch? And really, that's what she said. That's funny.
I wouldn't have laughed if she said it, but since he said that she said it, it was funny.
Right. That's what made it funny.
Interesting. Right. Yeah, I loved it. I like that. I didn't like really anything else in his set, but he tried to throw back to the two earlier comics that didn't work at all. And I think if he'd just gone into it, it would have been better.
I think if you're gonna call back to previous comics, they have to be truly remarkable, like real standouts.
Yeah.
Or the guy right
before
before you. Yeah.
And he didn't do either of those things.
Yeah.
It was very unfortunate.
So it was a good try, but next time if you want to, pull off another comic, the dude right before you, or like the craziest person that hit the stage.
Right. But typically the guy right before you is the way to go.
Yeah.
Because that's what everyone just saw. And then you show connection to the room, and you can move on from there. Anyhow, but not bad for a first time. Not bad for a first time.
At all.
I like that he addressed that his wife was really attractive and that people may think that she was a prostitute. Like he hired a prostitute and that it was his wife, not a hired prostitute.
Sure.
Because he's so.
So you didn't see that as low class?
Not at all, because it was addressing how he was
perceiving other people perceiving his wife.
Well, or how he was not attractive enough to get that woman.
Right.
He might have to pay for her, but in reality, it was his wife of 14 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
I thought that was a fun thing to play on.
Right.
That's
Wait,
pretty fun.
Wait, so
I didn't think it was rude.
I think I missed something. Did he say that she was attractive and beautiful and sexy?
Yeah,
Okay.
in the very beginning.
Well,
Missed that part.
yeah, I mean, I think he didn't say all of those things explicitly. He
Yes.
just said that Did he say that
he
attractive
said-
woman? I thought he said just that woman.
Oh,
No,
okay.
he said that beautiful young woman is my wife, not a prostitute.
Oh, all right.
Well, yeah.
She's
I
not a
see.
prostitute. A Hispanic woman is not a prostitute.
kinda
She's
threw
my
me
wife.
off.
Gotcha.
I thought that was funny.
That leads me
Fair
to
enough.
believe that he has had experience in the past with a beautiful prostitute that was similar, to the style and lookings of his wife.
Or he's had a situation prior to where someone
people
assumed
miss-
his wife,
yeah.
he was paying for that, and it was not his real wife. It was
Well,
a
now,
prostitute.
really, is the institution of marriage anything else but legalized prostitution? I ask. I don't know.
Fair point.
Anyhow,
I think they actually like you though when they're married to you.
you don't
When
think
you're
they like a
hooker work-
prostitute?
When you're the hooker,
Yeah,
they
they
actually
don't like
probably
you?
no.
You don't think so?
Mm,
I mean, you don't know? I don't know.
Are you really asking an ex-prostitute? Yeah,
yes.
I'm telling you the
I
truth.
just
No,
think
you
that
really do not
different
like that
Johns
person.
might give you different feelings,
You
right?
just
Like you might
really
think,
are there
oh,
to
this guy
collect
actually
them.
likes me. This guy definitely didn't like me.
Well, I'm talking as the woman. You actually
I
don't
understand
like
that.
them.
Oh,
My-
as the woman.
I think it might be
There
a
are lots
fan.
of-
I think it might be a fantasy thing because my brother will take his beautiful wife and they'll play hooker. So he'll take her to a hooker street that's known for hookering, and he'll drop her off. Then he'll drive her on the block and come pick her up and be like, "Hey, how much, babe?" And to make her feel special, he'll be like, "Yeah, I got $1,000," and she'll be like, "Cool," and get in the car and then take off.
And all the other prostitutes are like, what
Who the fuck is this bitch, right? And then
Yeah.
Not real,
Dude,
Abraham.
your brother is a classy man.
Yeah, and
Nice
then,
man.
and then she'll be like, "Look, are we gonna get a room?" And be like, "No, bitch, we got children. We're going home."
Is that a bit?
Yes.
The last part was a
That's
bit.
the truth.
For sure.
It's the truth.
All right.
All right, William. Okay. Any other thoughts on Steve? I don't know.
That
It's
was
pretty generic.
Yeah,
he kept
for now-
throwing his wife under the bus. It felt like during the interview.
Yeah, that's all I got.
Shout out to Buckeye because
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he
Buckeye.
mentioned Buckeye.
Abraham took me on my first actual show to Buckeye, Arizona.
That's
Oh.
right, Abraham.
And then Seth gave me my first LA show. So
There you go.
shout out to both
Nice.
of you.
Hey.
Shout out to making friends.
Yeah. So Steve mentioned Buckeye, and I thought that was interesting.
Cool.
That was cool.
All right, let's go
Okay,
next.
so let's go
Avery Gingery.
Funny motherfucker.
Avery Gingery. Whoa, the comedians love him. Here he comes.
Thank you. How are you guys doing? Are you guys fine? Oh. Relax. I'm in high school. Which is so inconvenient. Because I have the body of a 40-year-old and all the disadvantages of 16-year-olds. All right, okay. Nobody else out there fucking 17-year-olds? Okay. You guys ever walk through an apartment and you see a kid playing hide and seek vigorously? And you wonder, did that kid's dad just walk out on him? Relax, guys. My daddy was an Olympic hide and seek player. His high score was 17 years. I got an STD test. Doctor told me if I give you a call, this is bad news. So I changed my number.
Fuck yeah.
So,
great set.
Avery, yeah. Tony calls it set of the night. I think during the first few comments after the set closes. My impressions were that it was good. The guy's been doing it for 2 years. It was good. My thought always, though, and this might be bad, but my thought always with black comics is when they comment about their dad not being there and it's a joke, it's always the hide and seek joke. And I'm just a little tired. I'm a little tired of it. So it hits stale for me, but I'm seeing a ton of open mics, so I'm coming at it from a different angle. But it killed in the room. Everybody seemed to like it. He's got a great vibe, and he's 17 years old, which blows my mind. I think he's very talented, has a lot of, he's going to be one to watch for sure.
Definitely. If he's killing like this early at his, comedy game, then he's going to fucking be a beast getting older. And then they referenced, this is the guy they referenced, Leslie Jones?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So the body of a 40-year-old, I can relate to that because he was big.
That's what you have.
I do, and I am 42 years old, so that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely a young killer. The only thing I could possibly see getting inside this young man's way is his own confidence, because being like so beloved at 17 years old, I imagine that also comes with some pitfalls. So, dude, stay humble and realize that even though you're killing it, you're doing great. Just keep on doing what you're doing. Keep on writing jokes. I agree with you, Seth. Some of this stuff is that material about single father. I'm also was raised by a single father, and it's hard to come up with material that's unique about that. So it's a hard angle to attack because everyone's already done it. So not to say
single father or single mom.
I'm sorry, no father, single mom.
Yeah.
So that's a hard angle to attack, and it's hard not to come off as generic or cliche.
But it's the life experience.
It's a life
I don't want to
experience.
cheapen it, but
That was just one thing that he mentioned. He said a whole bunch of other funny stuff, which I thought was cool. He was half Indian. I've never seen a black and Indian mix. That was fucking crazy as fuck.
Yeah.
Me either. That was cool.
So my first impression, I thought he was really drunk. I'm like, he's
interesting.
really drunk. And I don't know if it was because he was slurring his words or whatever, but I really got the impression like he's really drunk. And then when he was talking about I didn't realize he was really 17 until the interview part, and I'm like, oh shit, he's really 17. And then I scratched out, he's really drunk, and then I wrote back in my notes, seemed really drunk from the interview portion, because something about his thing, it seemed like he had been knocking.
He said he slipped on some vomit from the night
Yeah,
before.
they started talking about slipping on his vomit and smelling his own vomit and stuff, and it seemed like something that would happen when you drink. I'm not sure, but I thought it was really lovely that Tony gave him 2 tickets to the Royal Rumble. That was really cool. And it's nice to see him doing open mics at 17, I guess. I'm actually kind of against children in there, so I don't necessarily like that. But he was very talented and way better than me. So
Right.
I can say that.
And if he was drinking, that might have contributed to him being even funnier, because it works for some people. But it's funny you mentioned. I've known comics that started at 16, 17, 18. They got so good that they ran with bigger comics, but because they were drinking and they had a drug problem, it fucked up their career permanently. So this guy's got a great chance to really make a name for himself out there. To be compared to somebody like Leslie Jones, for that to come into Tony's head and put it out there like that, that's big. So if you're drinking and you're doing drugs or whatever, stop. Do it all natural. That's the best way to ensure that you have a nice career in this game.
Good advice, although I do think the Leslie Jones reference was more referring to his looks than his comedic abilities. Definitely follow him, though, at Cheeseburger Bandit on Instagram.
Yeah, good guy. All right, let's go on to the next one. Any other thoughts? No?
No.
Okay. The next one was Thomas, I think. Thomas.
So it's all going to be audio from here, guys. Sorry, this
Eppolito.
laptop.
Eppolito.
All right. Back to the bucket we go. We're going to keep this fun train moving along with the style of Thomas Eppolito. Whoa, another big pop from the comedy side. Here he comes. A good steady pace.
My girl's been stressing me out talking about baby names. She's like, what do you think of the name Deshaun? I'm like, is this not my baby? She's like, why? I'm like, I don't think we're allowed to use that name. Oh, really? We're going to get uncomfortable there? Things are good with she makes more money than I do, which I'd be cool with, but she's a teacher, so really highlights how bad things are going. You guys remember that rally they had to increase teacher wage? I was right down there with her, because if she gets a raise, it's like, so do I. I know I'm big and burly, but I'm not manly. If something is wrong with my car, I pull over, pop the hood, then just stare at it till a real man shows up. Do you know what it's like when I go into AutoZone? They're like, what's wrong? I'm like, I think it's the spokes. All right, check the chain then. I think it popped.
Meow. There you go, Thomas Eppolito.
Okay, can I go first on this one?
Yes.
All I could think of is my dear friend Seth.
Is that right?
Yeah, because even you have jokes that are very similar to his style of jokes. Your wife is a teacher.
Yep. No. Well, yeah.
Or
yeah.
professor.
Kind
She's a
of.
professor.
Yeah.
She does make more money than you.
Yes.
If she gets a raise, you get a raise.
Right.
So all the things he said, and all I said in my notes is funny. Seth can relate, and I felt like his jokes were some kind of like some of yours. But I thought he was funny. I think you're funny too.
I appreciate that.
So, and the baby names, you've talked about that before too.
Yes, not in the same way, but yeah.
Right, but so
absolutely.
all I could think of was you.
No, I liked his set for me was the best. I liked his the most that night.
Because it's like you.
It was totally, yeah. It was a portlier, stronger me. Is what
It was. I mean, similar.
And we've been doing comedy almost the same amount of time, Thomas. So
a year and a half.
I am just under a year and a half.
Twinsies.
Just over a year.
Brother from another mother.
Maybe Thomas. I loved it. I liked all of the jokes. Yeah, it was fun. I don't know. He's a fun guy. I thought he was a nice guy, very relatable. And for me, his set really hit.
This motherfucker squatted Jeremiah multiple times.
Yeah,
he did.
that's
like
I'm
Jeremiah
saving that
was
for
nothing.
Abraham.
Was nothing.
And he didn't look like he's 315 pounds, but then I realized, okay, because I'm like a buck, 287, right?
I was gonna say
287. I wish I was.
A buck
287. I'm fucking nothing else. That's what I have in my pocket. 287. So I'm like, this guy. Then I realized, oh, he's all fucking muscle.
He's muscle.
He's all fucking. He's like a fucking.
I wouldn't say all muscle, but his
a lot,
legs and
a lot of
ass,
muscle.
not his stomach.
A lot
well,
of
not
muscle.
his tummy, but that's beard muscle.
I mean,
So I thought it was funny when Jeremiah was like, "Oh shit, do it again, squat me again," and then Jeremiah pulled his fucking
track
his
pants
sweats
down.
and had on the thongs.
Yeah.
With the big old elephant nose.
I will tell you, I own the very same thing.
I believe it. I totally believe it.
You do, huh?
I do.
You and the
Did you get
professor
it
are
before
freaks.
you got married, or for your wedding? Yeah.
He's wearing them now.
I got it when I was 12. I was so excited. I just kept it in a little box. No, we got it after we got married.
Okay, you're gonna have to wear them on
What did
this
I
show.
tell you that? Oh
Wear
my
them-
God, you are that
wear them
guys.
on-
You guys are like soul brothers.
You're gonna wear those.
Thomas, I'm gonna find you on Instagram.
On this show.
Oh wait, Jeremiah owns those, not
Jeremiah
Thomas.
owns those.
You're
Although
going
if
to-
Thomas wore them, that would have been amazing.
If you really are telling the truth, Seth, I would love to see you wear that on this show one day.
I bet you would, Abraham.
And I think
bet
you
you
should,
would
bro.
love to see
If
you
you
wear
do it, I will do it.
I'll
Let's
tell
put
you
it
what.
like that.
You two do it, I will do it.
Nice. You guys all own elephant trunk
Let's
thongs.
do it. No, but we'll buy some.
Ken has access to lots of thongs.
When I saw Jeremiah wear those though, and after Tony's comments about like the next drummer to just go up and like freaking suck at the drum, that's what I got envisioned wearing those, stripping down to the elephant trunk, and then just sucking on the drums, but just going for it.
Do you play the drums?
No.
Oh.
I have played them like once in my life, so
Okay.
it technically would not be a lie, but I am not a drummer by any means.
You would get
By
naked
any
and
stretch
put
of the
elephant
imagination.
G-strings?
Yeah, I'd think about it.
Do it.
All right. Hey guys, if you want to
Anyhow,
see the
go
three
on.
of us inside a thong, then put it inside the comments.
Hit like and subscribe and definitely leave it in the
Yes.
comments
If we
section.
hit 100
subscribers.
100
what?
Seth will wear
by
the
the end of
thong.
March, Seth
Oh,
is gonna
wow.
wear the thong.
All right, March
Seth will wear
Madness.
elephant
March
March
Madness.
Madness.
It'll be March Madness. That'll be my birthday show. My birthday's in that.
Oh my
March.
gosh.
Yeah, give Erica a lap dance.
Oh
I don't know if I'll do that.
Not bad.
Something tells me that the trunk part doesn't get too filled up when you wear them.
Probably not.
We'll see.
I guess you'll find out.
I'm gonna need an anteater one.
He's got 3 kids, so I ain't doubting the man.
I don't know. I mean, it
You
works.
don't have to have a big
it
penis
works.
to have children.
Yeah, it works at least.
He probably just rubs it.
Although all my kids
Was
are
that
black,
bad?
so
I
don't
think
know.
you just had one. I'm just saying.
We adopted.
I can't. Are
we
yours
adopted
red
3
too?
Kids. What?
Yours are red elephant?
I'm trying to think. I think they are red.
Or they're the gray ones?
I think they're red.
Oh wow.
What a Mormon you are.
Indeed.
All right, let's go with
There's nothing
the
wrong
last,
with it.
comment
You think there's
for the
something
night.
wrong with it?
Jesus is watching you, freak.
What? He's doing it with a
I mean, Jesus can choose when he watches, you know? So I don't think he really
He's
watches
off.
that.
Alright, so we'll move on to the last guy.
Okay, well done, Thomas. I loved you.
Yeah, I
Scott
liked you
Sandry.
too.
Scott Sandry was our final comic of the night.
He's trying to throw me off. Hey, Tony.
Shut up, you bitch. Cunt is my mother's name.
Okay, let's see what happens here. Make some noise for Scott Sandry, everyone. Scott Sandry. Hey, hey, hey. Yeah, yeah. Here he comes. Scott Sandry on a steady pace to the stage. Come on, make some noise for your final comedian of the night, Scott Sandry.
Kit Kats are a lot like regular cats. You can break them into 4s and they taste delicious. Whenever I go to the fair, I always have a black friend with me because I never know which is the best cotton candy to pick. Seinfeld's Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee is so successful that I'm pitching a new show called Dykes on Trikes Getting Tacos. Hulk Hogan talks about all these brothers, which makes his mom a whore. Midgets hate being called midgets, but like most things, they can't get over it. I was seeing this girl for a while, and she started calling me pet names, and one night she asked me, how come you don't have any pet names for me? So later on, we were at this party, and I was introducing her to people. Hey guys, this is my girlfriend Jessica, but I like to call her Bambi, because her mom got shot in the face with a shotgun. Fun fact, sex with an amputee.
Shaking of the head.
I'm
SMH,
a
Abraham.
fan.
All right,
but
you go first,
his-
Abraham. You go first.
Well, okay, his last joke, he killed. He closed with his last joke saying that he's not into nicknames, but he's got a nickname for his wife. He calls her Bambi because his wife's mom, was shot in the face with a shotgun. What the fuck? Did that really happen? How is that fucking funny?
In Bambi, it did.
So the Disney movie Bambi, the mom dies by a hunter.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
does that
With a
mean
shotgun.
does that mean that his wife's mom got shot in the face with a shotgun?
You got a lot of darks, jokes.
A lot. And then he also said this joke that something about his mom was a whore because something about Hulk Hogan
Hulk
and
Hogan.
brothers.
Yeah.
Like, and that makes his mom a whore.
Hulk Hogan's
Yeah.
mom a whore because he calls everybody brother.
He's got a lot of siblings.
So is that how his mom's a whore then? Because she was with a lot of brothers.
Because his mom had a lot of kids with
By
different
black
men.
men.
With different men.
Oh, brothers. He said
Why
brothers.
would you yell black men like that?
Because when he said brothers, I'm thinking.
Oh, do you know who Hulk Hogan is?
I don't
know about
Okay,
Hulk
so
Hogan.
then.
So he's racist, right?
Yeah.
Arizona's racist. Okay, anyway.
Alright, so I thought he had.
Arizona as well.
Yeah. Anyway, all right.
Okay, no, and then he says that joke about that he takes his black friend to the fair with him so they can
That
tell
was
what
my
kind
favorite
of
joke.
what kind of you fucking racist ass motherfucker.
Dude!
To tell him what kind of cotton
that was
candy.
my favorite joke of his.
How the fuck? There's only two kinds, blue or pink. Pick one. One for men, one for females. How fucking hard can that
No, we have purple.
Oh my gosh.
Yellow.
See, that would have been.
Okay, so I thought his dyke joke was great. Where he's
So
like
what was
dykes
that
on
one?
bikes eating tacos
Oh,
or whatever.
the comedians in cars
his
getting
parody
coffee.
with
Comedians
Seinfeld.
in
Yeah,
cars getting coffee.
I thought that was funny. That's the joke I thought was fun.
Alright.
What I thought was amazing. What I thought was amazing. What I thought about is, I wrote a star on three guys. It was Thomas, Scott. No, this guy Scott, and then fucking the black dude Avery, right?
Yeah.
But what I thought was cool about this motherfucker was that they called his girlfriend, right? And
his ex.
Okay, here's what I thought was cool, was that he did really well. And I think that it was drawn by pain. When you are going through pain and you're hurting and you're going through shit and you take all that energy and you go on stage and you did what this motherfucker did, I thought that was fucking magic. I thought it was magic because wasn't that his first time going on stage? Yeah. For it being his first time going on stage and fucking killing it the way that he did and being so fucking likable. I mean, whatever. Fuck it. It was Arizona. They're fucking racist up there, so everything it's very well taken there. But if saying that shit here at the Kill Tony at the Comedy Store, it would not have went over really well with Apollo 13. I'm telling you right now. So
Or Aphrodite.
Wow.
you're getting this card only because you got dumped by your girlfriend, motherfucker, for being racist. No, so it was cool that you got to do that and that your girlfriend had said yes to see you again. You know.
Alright.
I wonder if they've seen each other.
Yeah, I think that Abraham, it's funny how Tony's likings bend when he's in Arizona. He like kind of lets a little bit more racial shit fly because he's in AZ. And I think that's natural for comics to go, to different parts of the country and try to relate to those people. And I don't know if the guy's racist, but it was a racist joke. And it wouldn't have flew in LA, but I don't think he was a racist. I just think that he was going for the low-hanging fruit. He was going for the dark arts. He was trying to be controversial.
Yeah.
And it wasn't the greatest joke, but it definitely was shocking. That's not the kind of joke you see a lot of people trying to pull off in LA, that's for sure, for reasons. For lots of reasons. But yeah, I thought that it was really nice of Tony to give him that moment. I'm sure it was a great closer for the show too. Let's call up the
Right.
But she said yes, a kind of a forced yes. She's like, yes, I have to say yes.
Yeah.
I'd like to see a follow up. I'd love to get a hold of Scott Sanchez.
Seriously.
Let's get a hold of him.
If you watch the show by any chance, if you watch it, Scott, you're looking up your old episode, you stumble across this recap episode, please
reach out to him.
We can find him on Instagram.
Yeah, let's find him and let's let him check it out.
Message.
Okay,
Message
yeah,
it.
we're gonna try to find you, Scott, and then we want an update. We really
All
want
these
to know how
comments.
this went.
Let's find them all and have them subscribe.
Yeah. If any of you guys
But I
want to
do-
find us,
yeah.
then we'd love to talk to you as well.
Yeah.
But specifically, Scott, I want to know what happened with that girl.
Yeah, I did too.
What'd you think, Seth? You didn't really get to.
I liked him. This format works. The 1 minute works really well for one-liners, and he seemed to focus on the one-liners. They were very dark, definitely dark, definitely controversial, which doesn't always work, right? And it doesn't work in every audience. So that's something to be cognizant of when you go to different rooms,
Also
and different
directional.
places. But it was his first time.
Yeah,
He's
you
in
did
Arizona.
great for your first time.
Yeah.
You did
Freaking
fabulous.
crushed it. Freaking
Good for you.
crushed it.
What I want to know, what the fuck possessed you to do a pogo stick on a swing, motherfucker? What the hell?
It was Jackass
Yeah, it was
days.
Steve-O all day.
Yeah, I mean,
That would have been interesting to see.
Alright, so thank you guys for watching our special episode, and don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe so you'll be notified every time we do a new upload, like specials like this. Remember, if we get 100 subscribers by March, Seth will be in an elephant G-string here, and Abraham and Copus will be in their elephant G-string or whatever Copus can find.
I have an anteater one.
Lying around, maybe something extravagant.
I mean, anteaters aren't bigger than elephants. Is that what you're trying to suggest?
That's exactly what I'm trying to
Elephants
suggest.
are bigger.
So anyway, just hit that like button and subscribe to our channel. We all appreciate you.
Yeah, we really appreciate you
Thank
sticking
you.
with us on this extra long version of the recap. This is